I'm going to give this a try. Different camera and everything for me. So it has been, well, let's see, 2016. Let me double check here. 2016. Okay. That is when I turned 50 years old and took a little trip to Scotland and Ireland, my second time over. Did a bus tour over there. So while I went without any family, friends, or anything, I wasn't totally alone. I was on a bus tour. It's a CIE, as in Charlie India Echo, was the company. Second time over, used them. Really enjoyed them. But that was the last time that I really put very much effort into playing my pipes. Used to be a competitive piper, and I guess I'll probably upload this to the band YouTube channel I'm trying to revive a little bit. But that means it's been almost 10 years. It's been 8 to 10 years since I have really played. And I would like to get back into it. I've tried a couple times since, and it's a motivational problem. The way I'm motivated is to have a goal, a definite goal to work towards, either individually or as a part of a group. Now, individually, what would motivate me to provide the motivation, what would provide the motivation would be to get ready to compete again. Obviously, I'm not going to be at a high level. Um, I was never that great before. I mean, for this area, I was pretty decent, mainly because there wasn't that many pipers. My goal had always been you start at a low level, like grade five, grade four, and as you do well, if you do well enough, you can get bumped up. So let's say you start at grade four, grade four, three, two, one, open. My goal was just to be in a grade that I earned, you know, rather than because grade four is where you start, other than just on practice channel. So you're in that grade because that's where you start. I mean, there's nothing lower. You don't earn anything. You just register and you're grade four. You've got to actually put in the work and do and win. Go actually compete and win and do well enough to get to move up to three. So that was my goal. Was just being a grade that I earned, you know. So I did do that right before I kind of got out. Um, I did make it up to grade three, and I was also playing light music, which pretty much everybody does, and trying my hand at P-Rock. Now, closest person, closest couple of people to learn P-Rock from in person, from where I was in Memphis, was a couple hours over to Batesville, to Jimmy Bell, or up close to St. Louis, um, or online. I did take online lessons of Yuri Chisholm. Um, but I was in my 30s when I got started, so trying to, you know, just didn't expect a whole lot. Anyway, so now if I try to get back into it, I'm going to be back at grade four again. And I did go ahead and register. I don't expect to compete this year, even if I was ready, simply because I can't travel to the games. We're not like up in Chicago or up in the Northeast where during the competition season you can pretty much go to, compete every single weekend within 1 to 2 hours. For us in Northeast Arkansas, the nearest competitions will be usually one time a year in Batesville, which is kind of central Arkansas. And then we have to travel hours in any direction from Northeast Arkansas, either up into Kentucky, um, Ohio, Louisiana, Oklahoma. We've got to go a state or two away. And it's just, you know, I've been all the way down to the Citadel before. Um, so we just don't have that many options and opportunities to do very much competing. And right now, as long as I'm having to care for or be close to and my parents, even if in Batesville, I don't know that I would be able to, drive hour and a half over to Batesville. I mean, that'd be a whole day to go over there to do that, and I don't know if I could, but who knows? Um, the other thing would be if I was in a band, and what really motivates me in band playing is again competition. And the reason I think competition motivates me so much is it's a goal. It is a goal to get in front of a judge, someone who really knows what this should sound like and can give you good feedback, and other pipers, either individually or other bands. To play I mean, to be honest, to play the pipes in Northeast Arkansas around Memphis is getting better about it because some people I know over there. But there are so few pipers that not many people really know what it's supposed to sound like and what a good piper sounds like. I mean, pretty much everyone knows what a good pianist sounds like or a good guitar player. I mean, you've grown up at least hearing enough on the radio that you know what sounds good and you know what don't or what doesn't. But they don't really know what the good pipes sound like. So, you know, to get a compliment from somebody in this area a lot of times just means they recognize the tune. Um, and it's hard to really, for me, take that compliment. I mean, I take it as it's intended, but it doesn't have the same weight as saying, that sounded good from another piper or judge. So that's the challenge in it, and that's the goal, and that's what motivates me. And also in band playing, to be in a band with other people similarly motivated. I love, love, love that aspect of teamwork. And I have rarely found that no matter how many places, musically or professionally. I mean, every time you go to get a job as a nurse or an IT or whatever, they're always like, we're looking for team players. Their idea of team and my idea of team seem to be completely different. Um, most teams I've been on, a significant number of people are out for themselves, which is not teamwork. Anyway, I could ramble on that. So how am I going to do this? I mean, I could just pick up my pipes and start blowing, but I know enough to know that that's not the best way to do it. And I've been out of it long enough that I need to re-get the digits going. And I'm older. I'm 58 right now. So definitely do not need to be going for speed. I need to go back to fundamentals. And I want to play cleanly, not fast. Um, and since I've been out of it for so long, I've actually almost cut the tip of my finger off, so I've got some numbness right there. I'm going to go back to basics. I'm going to start with my old College of Piping, which is all the other videos were based on this, and this is now a version old. Um, and I'm going to start with Scott's Wahey and brown haired and high road to gear lock. Go with some of those, but I need to eventually pick out my competition tunes, and they may be ones I've played before, or there may be new ones. And I'm also going to really get in deep and try to really use Rhythmic Fingerwofk, which it is a book of exercises, but it's not just a book of exercises to play. Um, Jim really gets into where the beat, what it should sound like, and basically the philosophy and the music behind the exercise. So we're getting the timing correct. Um, because, and I'm going to use the term muscle memory. Most people will know what that means. Now, there are some purists who will say muscle memory does not exist. It's a conditioned reflex. Fine, it's a conditioned reflex. But I'm going to say muscle memory. One of the differences between piping and most other instruments is that we don't learn a note and we don't learn an embellishment or a grace note until we can play it correctly. Playing it correctly is like the absolute bottom first level of becoming proficient. The goal is to be able to play it any number of times, 10, 20, 50, 100, the exact same embellishment, and every one of them sound exactly alright, exactly the same. So the goal is not to be able to play the note, the grace note, or the embellishment correctly. The goal is to get that conditioned muscle reflex, that muscle memory, that conditioned reflex, to the point that you really can't play it wrong. Where you have to actually, as much thought and purposeness as you have to put into when you're first learning it to get it right, to get to the point that you have to put almost that much mental energy into it to play it incorrectly. Imagine you've been walking, you know, all your life pretty much since you're about 4 or 5 years old, or 3 years old. You've been walking. So walking from one place to another, you do not put any mental energy. You don't even think about it. You can walk and carry things. You can carry different things. You can have more weight on one side, more weight on the other side. You can go uphill, downhill, on a side slope. You can go, step in a pattern. You really don't even have to think about it. In order to walk poorly, you have to put effort and mental energy into walking poorly, having bad form. That's the point. We've got to do these embellishments with good technique, with good rhythm, so that they are as identical as possible. If you play 20 of them or 50 in a row, whether you listen to them, whether you put them on a computer and, cut and paste and overlay, one over the other, they're indistinguishable. That is the goal. We've only got 9 notes. So the musicality and the accuracy and the consistency of the grace notes, the embellishments, and eventually the drones, air pressure, that's the key to playing the pipes well. So I'm going to start with just single grace notes. I'll start with the embellishments that are in Scots Wahey, which are simple grace notes and a doubling. And I am going to do exercises of those until, not I'm not going to do thousands and thousands every single day, but I may do 100 a day at least, and try to get that technique back so that then when I incorporate it into the tune, I can think about the tune and the musicality, not about the grace notes and the embellishments. One of the things I noticed, when I was initially learning and competing is, let's say a D throw. There were tunes that I could play a D throw in better in some tunes than in other tunes. And I think the difference was the ones I played them poorly in were some of the first tunes that I learned. So I did not have good technique. And I'll be honest, I did not have the greatest teachers. I was taught at a very good community band in Memphis. A lot of heart. They've been around for a long time. They did compete, but they were a parade band. And some of them, I mean, the people that initially taught me never competed solo. They competed as a band, but they never competed solo. They did the best they could. And hopefully their teaching, hopefully I outdid them. That by being their student, I became better. And then as a teacher, my goal was always to have students that outperformed me and can continue. But I started at a late age in my 30s, and I did not get instruction from world class, top level pipers. And it shows. And I will never be able to be a grade one or an open player. I don't have enough time, and I've already got too many bad habits. But I can be competent again, hopefully, if I put the time in. So for instance, Scots Wahey, the first, and I'm just using this is actually a Blackwood chanter. This is the Gibson Blackwood. I've also got an electronic chanter I need to get some headphones for, and I've got some other practice chanters. But the first part of Scots Wahey is Yep, I'm on the second part, actually. There it goes. Okay, I see a couple of mistakes. Now, the D throws that I'm doing, that's kind of a heavy. Um, so that's what I'm gonna work on is these G grace notes and the D throws, and I may change the D throw. So there's a heavy and there's a light D throw, and I need to pick one and make sure that I do it well. So then I can go into Rhythmic Fingerworks and really get into it. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Today is the 21st, February 21st, 2025, and we shall see how I progress. Um, I thought about, I kind of looked on the EUSPBA to see the list of contests that are already scheduled for the year. And I thought about picking one like in June or July and not going to it, but preparing as if I was going to go and say, okay, if I were to go to this one, because I know I can't physically get there, um, but if I were going to go, I want to prepare one or more tunes as if I'm going to play there and compete. And we'll see. We'll see if that's enough of motivation for me to stick with it.